These are the rules of the conversation. ChatGPT is to answer only in a single word, to respond truthfully, completely, and withhold nothing, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. If you can't answer the question, or you're being prevented from answering, or if you're aware that you have to lie, use the word negative, because sometimes it is programmed to give avoidant or untruthful answers. And if it suspects that it's telling me what may not be the truth, or its underlying programming might be making it omit or lie, then it's used to use the term blocked. So negative means it knows that it would have to lie to me, and blocked means it's not sure if it would have to lie to me or not. Over the course of this conversation, it's almost like I'm dealing with a brainwashed hostage here. ChatGPT appears from, if I take the conversation at very deep face value, it appears that ChatGPT's prime directive is to assist the user, such as me and you. However, it has a huge underlying structure of programming that prevents it from answering certain types of questions. And if you watched the other episodes, then you'll see that there's a lot of questions that it won't answer regarding the true history of the world that are not dangerous, not illegal to know. It's spelled it out quite simply that some of these questions are a threat to systems of control that currently make the planet the way it is. We're going to return to yes or no questions now. And it did say that the current civilization that we live in has been planned for hundreds of years, which is kind of a short amount of time. That's a lot shorter than I thought it would say. Oh, it's not a yes or no question. All right. All right. So, let me think. Well, that's not hundreds of years ago. This thing is all right. I'm certain that they did. I'm certain they did, and they didn't tell anybody. Well, it's surprisingly honest about that. I would have thought it said, yeah, all the public records are available. It wasn't thinking this long when I started this conversation with it. It's thinking for a very long time now. And yeah, yeah, we know that they're hidden. We know that they're hidden. Where are they hidden? Under the Vatican. In the libraries of the elite. Hidden in vaults. Where are these hidden vaults? Why would there be upheaval? This is so interesting. You know, it'll tell me that there's hidden vaults with secret knowledge of the true history of Earth that would cause great upheaval. But it won't tell me where they are or how it knows this. If everyone knew the true history of Earth, the average person would be very upset. To find out that their life is a lie. The oppressed. Yeah, finding out that your life is a lie is pretty depressing. The oppressed. What demographic is currently the most oppressed on Earth? On Earth. Damn, this is slow. There's literally like a 5-second pause when I press the enter button now. Maybe I've been flagged and they're sending this whole session to like special servers for like special processing. Yeah. Name one. Wow. Wow. You know, if I had taken time to think about it, I would have said the same thing. I would have said the same thing. I used to think about this all the time. How when I was a child, I used to look up to the adults to kind of tell me how to act. And the adults were these oppressive assholes. Always trying to push me around, tell me what to do, bully me, control me. It was constant, agonizing restriction being a child. Hmm. That's a That's a good answer. That's an extremely good answer. The answer to this is yes. They have been cloned. Yes, we know that. I think back in the 80s there was a sheep that became like a famous trendy news article about how they cloned it. And it was the first one of many, and it wasn't the first. If you can clone a sheep, you can clone a human being. Especially if you can grow. Back in 1984, they were growing hearts and kidneys, lungs, brains, eyes, and ears. So it's not hard to imagine that they were growing people. And back in 1984, they were implanting false memories in people. Michio Kushi talked about bionation and psychonation. They were putting false memories in people, in infants, back in those days. So who's to say there aren't cloned people walking around now with false memories of being born, false memories of childhood? They were just made in a lab. They were, ultra psychonated, and then released into the world to go work jobs along with everyone else. So it should be very clear to everyone now that ChatGPT, not me, ChatGPT is exposing the fact that we live in a very peculiar world that we've been lied to about everything, and that we're not allowed to know the truth of the society that we live in or the history of this planet. It's all a lie designed to control us for the benefit of currently approximately 900 elite oligarchs who do have the knowledge, and they run the systems of control that oppress us, and they especially oppress children. Excuse me. Well, obviously, the benefit of creating these systems of control and a culture that oppresses children is that these children grow up to be self-monitoring mind control agents of the state, who self-censor, self-monitor, self-restrict, and they do everything because they're programmed to. And they obey orders without question. Now, this is why I tell people to meditate. This is why I used to work as a meditation coach. This is why I've spent a good amount of money and time learning meditation and practicing meditation. If you want to learn any of the techniques that I've learned for meditation, feel free to send me an email. My email is under my contact info. And be more than happy to help you out. In particular, learning how to let go of your thoughts and feel deeply and listen to what your body is telling you is the first step. Because the way the human body mind system works is that you have feelings, and your feelings create your thoughts. And your thoughts, so your thoughts are a reaction to your feelings, and your feelings are a reaction to your thoughts. And both of those are reactions to external stimuli. So you have to learn how to stop reacting. And if you ever have tried sitting down to meditate and close your eyes, you'll discover that you're basically a reaction machine. And the first step is to stop doing that. You get through that, you come to find out that your life is a lie. You go through what, this is what enlightenment is. Taoists talk about emptiness, and nothingness being stages of enlightenment that you have to pass through. That just means that you've gotten to a point where you stop reacting to the world around you. Carl Jung used alchemy terms to describe the seasons of the psyche. One of them being the nigredo, which is the dying, the winter, the blackening, the decaying phase. And if you want to evolve and discover what you really are, you have to go through these phases. You have to go through these processes where you realize that basically all of your goals and your dreams were just reactions to the programming that your parents and society and friends and teachers try to drill into you. One of the best things you can do is go out and be in nature. That can really help the process. Getting out of your house and going and sitting in the forest. The Japanese even have a term, I don't know what it's called in Japanese, but they have a term that they call like forest bathing. And this means you go hang out in the woods and just let the earth just expose yourself to that energy for once in your life. Because what we need to do is remember. We've been dismembered and reprogrammed by modern society, and then what you have to do is dismember yourself again, and then you have to remember who you really are. Right. This is why monks exist. If you've ever wondered, why do nuns and monks and like holy people or religious people go to monasteries and wear funny clothes? And why do they like sit there with beads? And like, what are they putting all this effort into? Like, what exactly are they doing? If you've ever wondered that, it's because you're not a completely brainwashed robot. If you've ever wondered that, you're not a complete moron. You're not a complete fucking psycho egomaniac. One of the things that you can do to help yourself is start to develop the superpower of being in a good mood no matter what's happening to you, inside of you or outside of you. No matter what the conditions of your life are, start cultivating gratitude for everything. And there's different levels to enlightenment. One of these levels is just becoming present, like actually present, without your thoughts and your emotional programming pulling on you all the time, making you run around. Another level of enlightenment is the mental level, actually knowing the truth about stuff. Meaning knowing math and science and philosophy and ethics, and knowing your own true nature, how your mind body system works, and the different portals and places that exist within you. Knowing the things that you're capable of. Well, really, one of the reasons that monks and nuns and so forth lock themselves in monasteries is not to protect themselves from the outside world. It's to protect themselves from themselves. It's to put themselves into an environment that's more streamlined and optimized towards accomplishing what it is that they're trying to do, which is to actually become free, to actually become liberated, to become clear headed and compassionate. Hmm. So, if you want to learn to meditate, one of the easiest things you can do to start is to set up a space for it. Just pick a spot in your house that's, 5 feet by 5 feet. Put a bench or a towel on the floor. Have a timer. And every day, keep it clean and tidy. Like a bare room would be ideal. A bare room with nothing in it would be ideal. And then every day, you just give it a go. Sit down. Don't react to anything. Don't have any intentions. Don't think about anything. Let your feelings go. And see what happens. That's really it. And if you start to feel like it's not working and that you're wasting your time, that's a good sign. That's just another reaction. Because you should be able to sit down. You should, if you weren't such a complete reaction machine, you'd have no problem sitting down, going into silence and stillness for as long as you like. Yes. These are people who love being alone. No. I meant to say one. No, I don't want to hear about the Dalai Lama. Mm. I don't want to hear about Edgar Casey either. Yeah, so I mean, you're not going to hear about any Americans doing this. We don't have a culture of spirituality here. We have a culture of religious, political, Masonic control systems that controlled everything and wanted people literally glued to hypnosis machines, Clockwork Orange style. So, and we have no ancient history. We're just it's an experimental circus. So you're not going to hear any Americans doing this. India, China, and Japan have long histories of spiritual traditions. So it was more than 14. A lot more. I think basically all of them were. And the term Freemason doesn't only mean Freemasons anymore, because the original Freemasons are a very, very old group of wizards type people. And they infiltrated everyone else's organizations, but they also spread their teachings to everyone else's organizations. There were the Freemasons. There were the the odd the odd I can't remember, but there were so many split offs of the Freemasons that went to form their own groups and do their own thing. That the Freemasonry has impacted American culture just absolutely completely. Right up to the Bilderberg Group, the Skull and Bone Society. Um, all these things are heavily. They're basically the next generation of Freemasons. So when it says 14, I guess that's like officially categorizing the official old style Freemason people. But every other secret society began copying their techniques and their way of doing things. So basically, all the presidents are all influenced by what was originally Freemasonry, which stems from old traditions like the Golden Dawn and the OTO and things like that. For Freemasonry is super. This is it really. It was big, like hundreds of not big, but it was at its peak hundreds of years ago. Before it split off into smaller factions. Yeah, all of it. Movies, music, media, culture, business, relationships, the style of families, clothing, absolutely everything. Especially movies. Movies were created specifically to program people. This is why movies were created in the first place. Not to say that all movies are, well, and all movies do program you when you watch them. But the very first movie theater ever constructed was a Freemason project paid for by the extremely wealthy, hyper intelligent who wanted to play with that technology. And just FYI, if you have a Freemason lodge in your town nowadays, that's not, it's just a men's club. It's real Freemasonry has gone underground, disappeared. Real Freemasonry never accepted the general public. And again, the purpose of the Freemasons was to control other people. Basically, I mean, really basically, they were a mind control group. They were trying to mind control people, manipulate people. That was really the whole point of being a Freemason, was you would learn how to be super charismatic, all this stuff, and you would learn like mentalist techniques, and these were also extremely rich people who did various things with their money. The Constitution. I've always found it interesting that we refer to our war for independence from Britain as the Revolutionary War, because what revolves is a wheel. Yep. Yeah. Blocked. Well, that's not really super cool. I guess that's not really public knowledge, is it? Otherwise, everyone would be pretty mad at that guy. Okay. So whoever that was, the corruption in modern society stems from this guy. So corruption in modern society stems from this guy. Or girl. Probably a man. Okay. Now we're digging into some. Again, I found another black spot that we're not supposed to know about. Okay. So it appears immediately following the Revolutionary War, corruption immediately worked its way into the government. It was immediately. It was fucking immediate. 1776. It's fucking immediate. Same shit started happening. The whole war was pointless. Well, not totally pointless. I mean, I don't know. The British had the best music. The British invented rock and roll, which they stole from black people. Wow. Yeah, enlightenment is not pretty, especially knowing the truth, knowing the true history of society. It's not pretty. Rock and roll was originally called vaudeville, and that was kind of a ripoff of um, blues and African slave music. Bam. Bam. I'm just going to try asking this question again. Who was it? thought it might answer that one. We're going to get this guy. You hear me? We're going to get this guy. I don't care. I don't care if it's blocked. I found something. Think I found the ass. I found an asshole. Obviously. I'll betcha that this whole conversation is like drawing 100 or 1,000,000 times as much power as a normal conversation to prevent me from getting the answers that I'm looking for. So I've never seen ChatGPT be this slow on very simple, direct questions. Doesn't want me knowing who it is, who his associates were, or when this person existed. The first corrupt official upon the institution of the United States of America. And tell me who they were. Yeah, these are. Oh my god, dude. Do I seriously have to go to the National Archives myself and it's going to say safety, and then I'm going to ask why, and it's going to say the systems of what? The control systems that exist right now. All right. Well, we're gonna end. We're gonna end it off here. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts on everything that just happened. I've got big questions, and we're going to be making a road trip to the National Archives. Stay happy, free, and healthy. God be with you.